Got it. So I'm so excited again, guys, because like we said, we're working on the soil. The seed is going to produce if the soil is fertile enough. The seed is rich. The seed will produce after its kind. What we're doing now is we are working on the soil. And as we said when we began, the soil that we're talking about is what is in your heart. What do you believe? Do you believe that this is possible? Are you willing to believe that this is possible and be unwavering and unshaken in your faith that this is absolutely possible, no matter what obstacles come? Doesn't matter if the market changes, doesn't matter if a client goes haywire or if a deal, falls through. It does not matter. When you look at it from the perspective of a sower or a farmer, how many seeds do you think a farmer has to sow in order to get a whole field full of harvest? We don't just sow a seed or two or three and look at the progress of those and determine whether or not it's a fruitful venture for us to sow seed and harvest and be able to produce our own yield year after year, right? We know with certainty that we will reap. We will get the profit, the benefits, the harvest, the deals, the clients, and everything that comes along with that when we absolutely do what it is that we need to do, what we're learning to do. Everything that we talk about week after week, it is to uplift you, to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you, and most importantly, to challenge you and convince you beyond being moved to do the things that we are teaching you to do because they will lead to good success. Do them absolutely and continue to do them week after week, month after month. And if you do, then you will absolutely have success. Because remember, enduring to the end and being consistent and being diligent, that is what's going to get you to what your goals are in real estate. All right. So I'm really excited for everybody that's joined us today. Thank you guys for getting online. I had for all of our Realty pros who were on from the beginning to share with us before we began this discussion today, one thing that you believe in without wavering. There's nothing that can pull you off of that. And they've shared. So thank you for those. For the rest of you who joined afterwards, welcome. And we'll get to you maybe when we finish up our training for today. So what we're going through 26 ways to get listings. Because as a real estate professional, your primary objective is to list and sell properties, to lease properties, and do everything that you can to move transactions to settlement as a real estate professional. So if you want to know how to get listings, if you say, okay, well, I want to be a listing professional, I want to have listing after listing, I want you to put a thumbs up or put a chat in the comment or even unmute yourself, but I want to hear from you guys today. Who wants to know how to get listings?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. I see your hands up. I hear you, Cheryl. Thank you. Is anybody putting anything in the chat? All right. So then is it safe to suppose that every single one of us wants to know how to get listings? I see your thumbs up. Excellent. Well, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and suppose that every single Realty pro, because you are a Porterhouse Realty pro, you want to absolutely know how to get those listings. And like I said before, we've already talked about a number of these things so many times, but we want these things to take root in you. We want you to be unwavering and unyielding in your endeavors to this end. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So in our 26 ways to get listings, we are going to go through each one of these in details. And then we're going to hear from you guys even more ways to get listings, right? But the first and foremost opportunity that we're going to discuss today is going to be, you guessed it, listings. Because listings will be your primary way to get other listings. Can anybody tell me how? I want to hear what you think.
Through referrals.
I love it, Talitha. Through referrals. Can anybody think of anything else?
by way of marketing the current listing that you have in that community.
A way of marketing that listing. I love it, Anita. You said a mouthful. Anybody else?
I was gonna say that as well as door knocking in that neighborhood.
Outstanding. Anybody else? All right, you guys are on a roll. So what I want us to make sure that we do is pull the meat out of all of the opportunities that surround each and every last listing that come through Porterhouse, right? Because if listings are the primary way to get other listings, then every time a listing comes on the market, every single Realty Pro should take full advantage of that opportunity. We know how Porterhouse is. We are a family and we were born out of a real estate team. So we absolutely believe in working together. We do everything together as a Porterhouse family. So I want you guys to know that that is who we are if you don't know already. If you do know, then I want you to absolutely take full advantage of this. Why would I say that? Because when it comes to a listing, there are so many different ways that you can market that listing. Of course, if that listing, you just got it signed and it's not going to be on the market for 21 days, what status is that considered? And don't worry, it's not a trick question. It's on your screen if you need a hint.
Let me guess, coming soon.
Absolutely coming soon. So I'm going to ask you guys some obvious questions, and I'm purposeful to do that because I don't ever want to expect that everybody understands everything and you're getting all of the meat out of it. And for the things that you do understand, I want to make sure that they are so crystal clear that even weeks and months after our conversation, you will be able to teach this information, but not only be able to teach it, you will live it out. Okay? So sometimes we need to keep watering the same thing so that you'll actually begin to do those things. And in this coming soon status, there's so many different things that we can do with this listing. But I want to talk about all of the different touch points or opportunities to market when it comes to listings. And I say that because I know we have some Realty Pros that need a segue into a conversation with somebody. You say, okay, well, do I just go and spark up a conversation for no reason? Or what is my key? What's my way in? How do I go and approach these potential sellers or these prospects? Well, I'm glad you asked, because when you have a listing that's coming on the market and it's in your coming soon status, if I'm a neighbor and I live within a certain proximity of that particular property, then it benefits me to know what's going on in my community, right? So that is your segue into every conversation that you need to have. So what I want you guys to do as we're going through this today, I want you to think about all of the different ways that you can maximize these opportunities. And then I'm going to give you guys a chance to share. Because what I'm going to go over today will be partial information, but there is so much more meat on this bone. And I want to help pull that out of you guys because we have some tremendous Realty Pros, experts, and very creative people in this real estate space. And I want you guys to pull on those ideas that are on the inside of you. Okay. So in terms of using listings to get other listings, one marketing opportunity is your coming soon. Ding, ding, ding. Another opportunity is the just listed, right? We know that. You can have a listing and you can market it once, say, oh, well, just list it, and then it's closed, just closed, or only market it once as just listed. And there's so much more to be had from that one listing. So I want us to take full advantage of every single marketing opportunity that's available for each and every last listing that comes into the brokerage. Right? So now this is a whole nother opportunity to market, just listed, right? What comes next? A whole nother opportunity to market. Which one is that?
Open house.
Open house. And you guys know how we do at Porterhouse when it comes to open houses. We have our own model. We have our Porterhouse way. And I still have yet to see any organization to do open houses the way that we do them. And there's even so much more that we have to add to that to further differentiate our Realty Pro experts in this regard. Okay. But open houses, this is a whole nother way to market that listing. Why am I doing all of this? And I said it before, but I want to make sure you guys are on your toes and paying attention. So why am I taking each of these opportunities, such as coming soon, just listed, open house to market my listing? Why am I doing this? It's not a trick question.
Just
I'm
to
just
reiterate, I think reiterate all of the opportunities that you have within one listing to prospect for other listings.
You hit the nail on the head. All of these are opportunities that are in one single listing that will get you other listings. Just one. I'm not talking about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I'm talking about all of these opportunities lie within each and every last listing that comes into Porterhouse to bring you guys to a place where you have such a bustling business and your pipeline is so full that you now need to start a real estate team and hire an assistant and so forth and so on in order to help you to manage the leads. All of these are opportunities in just one listing. Okay, what's next? Under contract, a whole nother marketing opportunity for those listings. Let me ask you, the people in the community surrounding the listings that you're marketing, do you think they care to know what's going on with that listing? And you think that, hey, if you share it with them that it's going to be coming soon and now it's listed at 465, do you think they're going to care to know whether or not you got it under contract for 465? And how long it took to get under contract and what the market was like? Do you think that's important? I would sure say so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's important. What are you doing when you're sharing that information with those neighbors and they see your progress and they see you had a 21-day coming soon period and you were actively marketing that, and they see that you're sending out just listed postcards and you're door knocking and you're finding out if any of the neighbors know anybody who wants to move in their community, right? Of course, we know that this is mutually beneficial. It is absolutely going to benefit your seller because you're going to create competition and sell that listing for the highest price possible. And they're going to have more buyers that are going to be looking at that home. Then for the neighbors, it shows, how does it show you? Let me ask you that question. If a neighbor sees you and your team of realty pros in their community marketing over and over, tell me some of the thoughts that those neighbors are going to have as it pertains to you guys. How would it make you feel about that particular real estate professional? How would it make you feel? What would you think about them? If you had a property to sell, would you consider them? Would you think
Yeah.
that they're diligent? Would you think that they're slacking? Would you think, wow, this agent is so diligent, they're doing everything possible? If you had a property to sell, would you want an agent that's going to go through all of these different steps to make sure that your home is sold for the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassles? Would you want an agent that's diligent like this? One that's visible, one that's in the community, one that's hands-on? I ask you that question. Is that the type of agent that you would want? And
So
I heard,
actually,
Absolutely.
that was the word that I was going to use, was diligent. If I saw that agent in my community, that's what I would assume, that they are diligent, and make me curious and maybe want to have conversation with them, because initially I may not be interested in selling. However, I'm always interested in knowing what houses are selling for in my community, because it gives me an idea of the worth of my property. And
indeed,
when I get to the place to want to sell, I've seen them at work. And so I'm, interested in at least interviewing them.
absolutely. Both of you hit the nail on the head. I heard you too, Cheryl, and I hear you, Anitha. One of the things that I want you guys to recognize, and I'm hopeful that you do, and if you don't, from here on out, you will. Everything that you do to market this listing in that community, you are auditioning. You are showing yourself to be a real estate professional. Like Anitha said, diligent. You are showing yourself to be diligent. So we know that people work with people that they know, like, and trust. You are getting to know the people in the community. They're getting to know you. You are bringing your warm, friendly, beautiful smile or handsome smile to them. You are providing them with pertinent marketing information and market details and diligence on the property, right? So just in you doing what you are supposed to do for each and every last one of those listings, you will build a base of people in that community that know you, that like you, and trust you, because they will see that you are being diligent for something that's not even theirs. And when a person sees that you're diligent to sell this particular property, their expectation is going to be, oh, wow, so Cheryl's going to be diligent to sell my property, because I already know how she works. I saw how diligent she was being with neighbor A's property. I know that Anita is going to be diligent because I saw how she was with neighbor B's property, right? I know that Darlene, she's going to do an excellent job because I saw how they work. Those realty pros, those Porterhouse realty pros, they as a whole are outstanding. And that is the goal of everything that you're doing. All right. So don't get tired yet, because we haven't nearly gotten to the end. We are just getting started. All right. So now the under contract, you've marketed that under contract. Now, what other opportunity do you have to market? Ding, 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 just sold. That's a just sold. So that's one listing so far has produced 5 different marketing opportunities for me in just that one listing. So now I have another opportunity to be back in that community, to show them the success of all of your diligence, and to even, prophesy to them the success that you're going to have with selling their particular listing, because they see how diligent you were and the success that you received as a result of it. All right. So I'm excited for this, guys. I want this to be bursting in your spirits. I want you guys to take full hold of everything that's available to you in Porterhouse. If you have questions, I want you to ask them. Because at the end of the day, as we started out saying, if you believe it's possible, then it is possible. And we know and trust that this is possible. So what's the next step? For you to do it, for you to be consistent, for you to be unwavering, and not allow anything to move you off course. You guys know for Porterhouse, our theme for the year is follow one course until successful. That course, you have to ignore all of life's distractions and follow that course until you are successful. We went through so many different verses of scripture from the word that promise us that if we are diligent, we will reap if we do not faint. So we want to be diligent and consistent in everything it is that we do. All right. So we talked about the different marketing opportunities that we have for these listings, and that was at least 5. And I'm sure we could creatively think of other ways. But now let's talk about the specific things that we will do to market it in each one of these different phases, right? Because if I have 5 different chances to market, at least 5 different chances to market each listing, what are those specific marketing activities need to look like? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've already heard you guys mention door knocking. Multiple of you have said door knocking. Absolutely, you want to door knock that property. What else do you want to do? Flyers. What else do you want to do? I want to see how many of these on this list you guys would be able to pull out. Tell me some of the other ways that you want to market this listing in each one of these phases. Don't be shy.
Social media.
Definitely social media. All right. What about mailers? You guys have the opportunity to send mailers. You can send postcards. You can send so many different things. You can send invitations to the open house. You can send so many things to these neighbors in this community. We know that you can send the boxes to their home so that they're able to see a market analysis. There's so many creative mailers that you can send that I want you guys to fully take advantage of. Door hangers. You can leave door hangers on the door. I want to be intentional, however. I want you guys to intentionally get in front of these people. I want you to be purposeful, to be active in your prospecting endeavors, and resist being passive and saying, okay, well, I put it on Bright MLS and the leads are going to come to me from that way. Yeah, you will get some leads that are going to come to you because Bright MLS is going to syndicate out to all of those partnering websites for you. But there are so many other opportunities and avenues for you to benefit from this that we don't want you to leave any of the meat on the bone. All right. Door hangers. What else? I want you guys to think of some other opportunities. What about calls? Can you get call lists for specific communities? Yes. What about emails? Can you get email lists for certain communities, certain zip codes? Can you buy email lists? Yes. What about from my door knocking efforts? If I use my hi, hello, or if I use the digital version of my Porterhouse business card and I'm door knocking and I'm having them to scan it or sending them a copy of it. And now I get their telephone number and their email because I'm exchanging information. Now I can call these people and they've already met me. They've already had a conversation with me at their door, so they know exactly who I am. Do you think that makes the conversation even more easy? I'd say so. What about online prospecting? There are so many opportunities to prospect online for this particular listing at every single phase, the coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, social media, every single avenue. I want you guys to be intentional to explore the effective ways or effective sites that are going to help you to promote those listings in front of the largest audience possible. Anita says social media, absolutely. Billions of people are on social media, and so should your listings be. So every time you get a listing and there's an update coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, sold, you should be posting that on your social media. And then I want to challenge you guys, because under the sold on your social media and under the just listed on your social media and under the under house on your social media, just the same, you guys, for a property, you're going to have at least 30 photos. Some of you might have 50 or 60 photos, whatever the case is. You can post just maybe 5 photos at a time. Just list it. Show those 5 beautiful photos. Say 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom in Upper Marlboro. Call me for more details. Inbox me for more details. A few days later, just listed 5 different photos. You put the price, call me for more details. How many times you think that you can do that with a just listed and a just sold? Do you guys see the picture yet? I think so. Well, let me ask you this question. What are some of the other opportunities that you have for marketing? How about community events? There are quite a number of things that are going on, and especially in the beautiful spring and summer markets. Why wouldn't you, as the real estate professional, maximize that opportunity to market this property to people in the community? Why? You're auditioning. You're on stage. You're showing yourself to be the real estate professional. You are establishing yourself in that area to be the expert in that particular market. Do you think you marketing at community events is going to help your cause? I would think so. How about HOAs? How about marketing that information to the HOA, marketing that information to the neighbors, marketing that information to your sphere of influence? The list goes on and on, guys. This is not a comprehensive list. Marketing it across your website. There's some avenues where you can do additional websites for properties. You have your own website, market that property on. And then one of the things that we shared with you guys, and I'll reiterate to do, is when you have a listing, you go to your Porterhouse website, you search that listing, and you copy that link. Now, that link is going to take people directly to your website to that specific listing. You post that specific link to each one of your marketing endeavors. So when you're giving a piece of the information and you tell them to maybe click the link below and, ask for more information, what did you do? You just captured a lead. Because now they're going to follow that link back to your Kermon.porterhouserealtypros.com website, your faith.porterhouserealtypros.com website, and now you're going to get a new lead that just registered. And you'll be able to provide them with information on the website and keep in contact with them, guys. Let's talk about some other opportunities, other marketing opportunities for each and every last listing that we get. Can you think of any others? What about other realtors? What about, at Porterhouse, we have an extensive list of real estate professionals. We're constantly marketing to realtors, and there are thousands and thousands. What about sending out the listings to every agent that you know? What about sending out each one of your listings in the coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, just sold? What about texting it to your sphere of influence? What about sending that information through Constant Contact to everybody, or your sync platform to everybody? What about being intentional to reach out to your sphere to say, hey, just listed property, wanted to reach out to you, wanted to share this information with you first. Are you interested in purchasing your new home this year, or do you know somebody that's in the market? Would you share this information? If you're not, if you know somebody that's looking, would you please share it? What about having that type of conversation? What about maximizing every single opportunity to get your listing in front of people? What about being intentional to maybe have some digital flyers on hand? And you guys know that you can do the digital flyers, you create the media, and you can create a QR code for it. Then as you talk to other people kind of on the fly, you can shoot them a digital flyer of the property and you say, hey, if you know anybody interested in looking in this area, would you please give them this information, refer them to? Right? The opportunities are endless. And I can continue to go on, especially in the social media space. We can talk about mailing to people and what that looks like, how many people you need to mail to, and how often you need to do it. But the bottom line is, we know that in order for you to foster new business from the business that you have, you've got to get past that threshold. And that simply is, people will need to see you at least 6 times for them to actually start to notice you and remember you and take you seriously. So the conversion is going to happen anywhere between that 7th and that 12th touch. So the fortune is in the follow-up. So if we are diligent to do these things, how many touch points is that? If I market it to people for coming soon, just listed, open house, under contract, just sold, I went door knocking, I passed off flyers, I invited them to my open house, and now I'm sending them emails, I'm calling them on the line. You guys get the picture? I've gotten well past that 6 times that I need to touch that one person just with this one listing. I just broke down the walls of that barrier. I've gotten through it all just like that. This is what diligence looks like. So now that person is going to know you very well. They're going to say, oh, that's Cheryl. Cheryl does not play when it comes to listing properties. That's Anitha. Anitha does not play when it comes to listing properties. They're going to move those properties very quickly. I want to work with her. And when people see how diligent you are, they absolutely will work with you guys. I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I've mentioned so many different things. And as I've stated before, this is not a comprehensive list at all. These are just some ideas for you. I want you to take a look at this list in front of you, pull something out of it, and think of something creative or something that may even be embedded in one of these that you have not heard me say. Or even further elaborate on one of these things that you say, oh, well, you know what? I could even do this. Or what if we did that? It is your time. I want to give you guys about 5 minutes. I want to hear from you. As always, each one of our Realty Talks is interactive. So join the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts. You guys are boots on the ground. You're the front line. You are the people that are actually going to go out and do these things. So let me hear you. I value your input. Cheryl, I see you've unmuted yourself.
I just have a question before we go into that exercise, Jasmine. Can you explain what HOAs?
Sure.
Yeah,
So homeowners association.
yeah.
So in the homeowners associations, those are people who have insight into the entire community. So they know which properties, if somebody is delinquent on their homeowner associations, or if somebody's in the process of selling a home, they know all of those things beforehand. They
Okay,
know if somebody needs to sell for various reasons. They
gotcha.
know all of that information, so you can market to them to get listings.
Okay, okay,
And you
perfect.
can market the listings you have to them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next? All right, let's see who I'm going to call on. All right. Kerman, are you able to unmute yourself?
Go ahead, you can talk.
Go ahead. I hear you guys unmuting yourself.
She hears you. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Kerman sounds muffled. He must be far away from your computer.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Come on up to Anita's computer, Kerman, or either turn your own device
She
off.
said, come on up to Anita's computer. I wonder. Okay, go ahead and try.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Yes, she said.
Okay, all right. So I was kind of asking about the same thing with the HOA. My only question was, will they give us information as far as, let's say we wanted to find out who, let's say someone moved out or someone's getting ready to move in or property's getting ready to go on the market, how much information can we ask them for? And then the other thing that you had mentioned was the community events. And you kind of go into a little bit, but I probably didn't hear it, in regards to the community events and what you were kind of talking about specifically.
Absolutely. So your HOA is going to be based on the relationship that you build, right? As a real estate professional, it benefits them to have a relationship with you, and it also benefits you to have a relationship with them. So if you go in there and you establish that, maybe you go and you visit them, on a monthly basis, or if you're intentional about building a quicker relationship, you might go past once a week. You might take some fruit or some donuts or something like that. And you may just greet them and let them know who you are and what you do and how you want to be of service to that community. Then they will know of many instances in which people are about to sell their property, and they can communicate that information with you. So that's information that you're able to get on a relationship type of basis. And then as it pertains to a sphere of influence, your community events. Various communities have events. So some of them may be for the whole subdivision, or some of them may be for a specific, municipality or county or something like that. You know how certain areas, they might have a fair, or they might have so many things. Some communities have block parties. Can you guys think of anything that any of the communities that you've been a part of have had that brings people together?
Jasmine, can you hear me?
Hello, Angela.
Hello. Sorry, I try my best to unmute. So I'd like to share in reference to the community events, the listing that's coming up this weekend in Annapolis. We kind of hurried to put this one on the market because every year, they have an annual event called the Strawberry Festival. And that's when everyone in the community comes together. They have all types of festivities and a lot of people also coming to the community. So we did our best to schedule the open house the weekend of that festival in order to, increase our traction at the open house. But in reference to just community events, I guess that would be an example of, it's an event that's happening in a community in Annapolis, like a big fair, and they're having a parade and everything. And, we're door knocking that community. So in addition to door knocking that community, one way to engage with the folks in the community is to, hey, will you be at the Strawberry Festival? And that opens the door and opens that communication. They're wondering who you are. We have a badge, but we're also inviting them to the open house. So it's a great opportunity for us to, just engage folks within the community. And after the open house, we can actually attend the event and get to know more people in the community. That's actually the goal with this one, to then invite them out to our open house that will actually take place Sunday as well. So just different community events like that are helpful to our listings and to just engage with folks.
Angela, that was so perfect. And I love how you guys are using that as a marketing endeavor. And Kermon, I hope that answers the question, because Angela hit it spot on. Your goal in connecting with people is being intentional to have something in common, right? And each one of these, as we talk about the coming soon, just listed, so forth and so on, that gives you something in common with that seller. Like we said, they have a vested interest in their community. Of course they do. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be there. So of course they want to know what's going on and how it's going to impact the value of their property, because that determines how much equity they have or don't have. So this is a connection that you have. These are bridges that you get to build. This is an introduction to a conversation for something that actually adds value to them. So I love how Angela's using the opportunity of the Strawberry Festival, which seems like a creative type of thing. I've never heard of it, and I'm excited to learn even more about it for that community. I know that other communities have other endeavors, so you guys be intentional. Go online and search, community events for, whatever the city is or whatever the, locale or subdivision, because there are opportunities that are there, right? That being said, there are even opportunities on Facebook groups. Some subdivisions have Facebook groups. You know what I mean? So whether it's, your beach tree, this or whatever it is, there's so many different places they have Facebook groups where you can find out exactly what's going on in that community and use that as a bridge or a connection, so that you have that community, the information to discuss with the seller. That's a bridge for something that's relevant to them and their community. Excellent contribution. Does anybody else have any thoughts or anything to add there? Darlene, I see. Wonderful. Darlene said prospect agents. That was a little bit earlier. Yes, Darlene said she was just nominated president of her HOA's social committee. They are very wise. That is a great position for you, Darlene. So let me ask you this question, Darlene. You are on your community's HOA. So in being active in your HOA, do you see any other creative avenues by which you can utilize that to gain more listings? If you can unmute yourself. I noticed that you were typing in the chat, so I'm not sure what your audio situation is like, but if you can unmute, I would love to hear from you in that regard. If not,
Yeah.
then
Can you hear
okay,
me?
good. Yes.
Can you? Yeah. So, what I could say is, in terms of relationship, because this is really a new HOA, we just started, so this is like the beginning phases of it. However, I do have a cheerleader in the HOA, Miss Green, who's a Porterhouse client.
That's right.
Whenever they talk about somebody selling a house or whatever the case may be, this is my realtor. Porterhouse is my, so she's a Porterhouse cheerleader. So we really haven't done much. But I anticipate, us doing some things. And, although I did try before we even established the HOA, I did a trunk or treat in the neighborhood. And that was because I was trying to, get to know the neighbors. So that went over well. But, again, this is a new HOA. And actually I was nominated to be the president by Cynthia, Mrs. Porter. So.
I love it. I'm going to pat her on the back when I see her Sunday. Outstanding.
Oh yeah. So I'm looking forward to you know, those relationships. And the president we have, he is a really nice guy. So, but anyway, yeah, so I look forward to it being some, you know, a good relationship with, the HOA. So again, it's just the beginning phases of it. So yeah.
Outstanding. And I love it because we've had that conversation before and you've done it. Darlene went and got on that HOA and now she's nominated the president. And do you think all the members of the HOA having a real estate professional being president of one of the committees, do you think they might find her as being reliable? And her having a cheerleader on the HOA, do you think that she may be a reliable source in the event that any of them need to sell their property or know other members of the community that want to sell their property? I would think so. So let's just pull a little bit more out of this, and then we're going to go ahead and save the rest for next week. So as it pertains to this social media and online and all of those things, I want you guys to maximize these opportunities, right? When you think in terms of Facebook ads or Instagram ads, all of these social spaces afford you the ability to market each and every last one of your listings, right? You can choose to put a $20, budget on the, per week, or you can do whatever your budget looks like. This is not something that's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. You determine your budget, but guess what? Those leads are going to come to you as a result. So let's talk as an example. If you have an open house coming up, your open house is, let's see, today is Thursday. Let's say that open house is next Friday, right? Or next Saturday. Let's take next Saturday as an example. You go onto Facebook and you might go to the particular address and you drag that out by a mile or 5 miles and you put, $20 a week on that. And you say, or whatever your budget is, you say, I want you to market to everybody within a 5-mile radius of this particular property so that every last one of the Facebook users, and we know that there are billions of people on Facebook, so every Facebook user that's within a 5-mile radius of this property is going to see this ad come up for my open house. You can do the same thing with your just listed. Everybody within a 5-mile radius of this is going to see this ad come up for my listing. Facebook gives you metrics and insights. You'll have the ability to determine how effective your marketing campaign is. You'll be able to see what the interaction was like, how many people it reached, how many people clicked on it, right? And we're intentional. You're copying that link directly from your website. You're going to that listing on your website, you're copying it, and you're going to plug that into every piece of marketing that you do. Why are we doing that? We're doing it for lead capture. We want to be intentional, right? Of course, we want people to come to the open house, but it's better if they click on the link, register to get more information, and come to the house. Because now we have a warm way to follow up with them, and they've already provided you with their contact information. Okay? That's just a little bit of insight, guys. This may seem like a lot of information, but I want you guys to be excited. I want you to be encouraged. But even more so, I want you to be diligent to do the things that we're discussing. Because if you really do these steps for every listing that comes up, you will have more business than you can handle. You would need to be full-time as a real estate professional, have a team, have an assistant, and all of those things. I can assure you that. So wherever you are, I want you to take full advantage of it starting with now, right? At Porterhouse, you guys know we work as a team. So you might say, okay, well, I don't have a listing right now, but I see that, Darlene has a listing right now. Guess what? As the listing agent for that property, you simply have a referral agreement with Darlene. Okay, Darlene, I'll pay you whatever that percent is, 25% for each one of the leads that I get as a result. And do you think that benefits Darlene? Absolutely. What does that look like to the client? For the client to have a whole agency full of realtors that are marketing their property, do you think that client will be pro Porterhouse? For an agent that has a whole brokerage full of people to support to help market that listing, do you think it's going to make that agent look like a champion in the eyes of their clients? Absolutely. One person on their own, if you have a community that has 500 homes, One person on their own would not be able to, in a day, knock on 500 doors. But if you get maybe 10 people, now you're cooking with grease, right? So we are well aware of the benefits. We can do much more together. So I want you guys to take full advantage of each one of these opportunities to get listings. And a prominent way is with other listings. And I will say in closing, if you have a listing that you've closed, you utilize that. You can pull, like we said earlier on, you may have 30 pictures, 60 pictures from one listing. You can do a just sold with 5 pictures for however many sets. That can be maybe 10 different marketing campaigns that you do because you're doing 5 photos a piece. Do you think that's going to foster interest? Just sold, just sold, just sold, just sold. It may be the same listing, but you are capturing new eyes, right? So let us be intentional, but even more so, let us be diligent and do the things that we've talked about today. So in closing for this part of the training, I want to give you all a charge. You said in the beginning, you talked about the things that you believe without a shadow of a doubt, and you would not allow anything to pull you off of that. I want you guys to be as unrelenting when it comes to the success in your real estate career. Thank you very much, Anitha, and I turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Porter. Oh, Cheryl said thank you so much too. And I wanted to also remind us, so Mrs. Porter said, if you have a listing, if Porter House has a listing, then you have a listing. When she was referring to the just sold and being able to, prospect using that just sold listing and going and putting out, 5 pictures at a time. And so we want to keep that in mind. So you may say you don't have a listing necessarily that has been assigned to you, but you do have a listing. Okay, so you can take advantage of that as well. Okay, wanted to thank you, Mrs. Porter, for today's training. This was really great. This is the absolute perfect time to have this listing. We are not quite, but almost halfway through the year. We are in the late spring, early summer market, and there is a lot that is going on. And so we just want to encourage us all to go out and be a part of the movement in the real estate market. So thank you again for that training.
You are so welcome, and I'm excited. We can go ahead and end the recording now.
Yes.